Here we go, another onslaught of releases that should land in our laps very soon, or you should cross paths with. Lots of exciting new fragrances I'm going to talk to you about today, and that's the topic of today's video. If you're curious to learn about these fragrances, then please stay tuned. Thanks so much for tuning in. This is Sebastian. Yes, lots of new goodies landing soon, lots of exciting fragrances, and I'm always interested in reporting about these fragrances that are soon to land at stores or online. And there's some exciting stuff, and some of these I have smelled here and there, and I'll tell you what they are, but most of them I haven't, and I'm very, very curious about them. The first one I'm going to talk to you about today is another one from the house of Xerjoff. Last year they launched TORINO 21. This year they're launching TORINO 22. They're completely different fragrances. It's from the Join the Club series of fragrances. And normally they don't release notes for these fragrances in Join the Club, but this one says it's musk, dry woods, clary sage, mate, guaiac wood, and bergamot. The last one they did was about citruses and mint. Very aromatic, very green, very juicy, citrusy. I felt like it was kind of like a mint tea experience in that fragrance. So this one seems quite different. We'll see how it is. Moving on to GUERLAIN, they have a fragrance, I think it's a limited edition called Imagine 2022, launching in 2022. It's orange blossom, sandalwood, and benzoin. I like this combination. Benzoin for some sweet vanillic resin touch, sandalwood for that wood and woodiness, and then of course orange blossom for that citrus floral. Sounds like a great scent. I don't know anything about it. I'm very, very curious. Imaginary Authors also has a new fragrance. I haven't smelled it yet. Soon I will smell this one. I haven't smelled any of the fragrances so far. It's raspberry, citrus notes, palm sugar, rose, sandalwood, and punch. This one seems to have an 80s or early 80s or maybe late 70s kind of a theme, because there's this whole roller skating kind of a theme photo on the bottle, and I'm always intrigued by Imaginary Authors fragrances. Very curious about this one. If any of the fragrances I discuss here today, if you've sampled it, please put a comment down so I can find out. Now the next fragrance, I have sampled it from a sample a couple times I think. It's Goldfield & Banks Island Lush. They were just here recently, did an event at ZGO Perfumery, and I got to sample it here. And I also sampled it several months ago when I saw them at Exons. So this is a leather. It seems very the name doesn't kind of fit it for me, but then again I think it kind of makes sense. Island Lush, I'm thinking of tropical and kind of like lush greenery and fruits and vegetation, but this is a leather fragrance, but it's featuring leather, benzoin, sandalwood, patchouli, vetiver, geranium, guaiac wood, cedarwood, bergamot, and pink pepper. I smelled it. It smells really, really great, and I'm intrigued to kind of actually wear it myself. I've actually smelled it off of a one person, the owner of Goldfield & Banks, and also off the bottle as well. So this one sounds really, really great. I believe though this is going to be a limited, not a limited edition, an exclusive to a store until it goes wide. The next fragrance, I've already spoken about this fragrance quite a bit, and I'm going to keep talking about it until it's actually an official announcement and information is online. It's Tom Ford's Cherry Smoke. The photos I'm using are taken from eBay, so they're not my photos or legitimate official photos, so be warned about that. But I'm very, very excited about Cherry Smoke. Just did a cherry fragrances video. If you haven't caught that, go catch it. It features Lost Cherry. But seems like Tom Ford is banking on their popularity of Lost Cherry, and they're coming up with a new fragrance. Obviously it's cherries and smoke, so maybe they're combining a few of their fragrances to create something like Avant Fume is the smoky one with the cherryness. Anyway, well, I'm very curious and excited to see what it's all about. Next, Mancera's Tonka Cola, another one that I've keep talking about. I'm really, really intrigued with this one. This one's definitely an official announcement. Yes, it's coming soon, and it does features cherries as well, and it's called Tonka Cola, so obviously it's Tonka beans with a kind of a fizzy, kind of sparkling, effervescent touch to it, because there's a cola note in here with Tonka beans, labdanum, vanilla, black cherry, benzoin, orange blossom, patchouli, lemon, nutmeg, and cinnamon. It seems spicy, it seems warm, it seems very fitting to launch during the holiday or around the holidays and winter, kind of autumn winter kind of months, because I feel like this fragrance is going to be a very, very nice fragrance for during the holidays and winter months. Moving on to GALLIVANT, they have a new fragrance called Abu Dhabi. Are you a fan of this particular house? They're kind of a small house, and I'm always curious and intrigued with the fragrances they launch. They are city inspired, but they're gallivanting around these cities is the topic or the theme of the fragrances. This one sounds really interesting. interesting. It sounds Middle Eastern, obviously focused on Abu Dhabi. It features cedarwood, patchouli, leather, musk, clary sage, saffron, geranium, orris root, cypress, pink pepper, peppermint, rosemary. A lot of stuff. This one seems very, very complex. I'm very, very curious and intrigued to smell this one. It seems like a leather, a woody leather, and it has patchouli, so I love patchouli, so we'll see how it is. If anyone's gotten their nose on this one or anything I've spoken about so far, do let me know. Put a comment down. Do you like it? Do you hate it? It's okay. It's not anything groundbreaking. I'd like to find out for all the fragrances I've discussed so far. And continuing with the theme of Tonka beans, we've got one from Pierre Guillaume. It's called 31 Tonka BODYKON. Very interesting name. This one seems like it's a boozy take on Tonka beans with fruits and honey. And pistachio. What a combination. This one sounds really, really exciting. It seems like it's going to be a gourmand Tonka focused fragrance with booziness. I like the sound of this one quite a bit. It's rum, Tonka beans, apple, honey, vanilla, pistachio, benzoin. This one also sounds like it's a holiday in a bottle. Festive and sweet and delicious gourmand. Yeah, I'm excited for that one quite a bit, and I can't wait to smell that one. Thankfully, here in San Francisco, we have CGO Perfumery, and they sell the brand, and I'm really, really excited about that one. Moving on to Tamine. This is a house I'd like to dig into. Let me know what are your favorite fragrances from Tamine. I actually visited their booth in Cannes at the TFWA show, and I got to sample a lot of their fragrances, and once again, they sell them at the ZGO Perfumery here. They have a new one called Insignia launching. It's bitter orange, whiskey, fig, damask rose, geranium, bay leaves, vetiver, sandalwood, suede. I always love fig. I always love whiskey in fragrances. This one sounds delicious as well. I don't know how it'll be. I'm curious, and I'd like to check it out. The other thing is the ex-creative director for Amouage is now the creative director at Tamine, I believe, from what I've read. Moving on to Baruti, another house I want to explore further. It's Oh My Dear with an exclamation mark. This one seems like it's a bit edgy, it's a bit daring, with black pepper, Sichuan pepper, aldehydes, metallic notes, lily of the valley, frankincense, amber, vanilla, animalic notes, and musk. Who's a fan of Baruti, and what are your favorite fragrances from this house? Put a comment down, so I'd like to find out. I really enjoy Perverso from this house, and a few others. The tea one, I think it's called Chai something or rather, and I'd like to explore the house further. But let me know if you're a fan. What are your favorite fragrances from Baruti? Put a comment down so I can find out. And finally, another house I'd like to dig in. I just spoke about them with their fragrance Christopher Street, which is now renamed to Christopher. Thankfully, in Europe, I was able to find a bottle of Christopher Street. It will be a collector's item, but 1969 does have a new fragrance called Yes Please, another name with an exclamation mark. Again, there are some fragrances in this house that I really liked. I have Chronic from the brand, and now I have Christopher Street. There's also Female Christ, which I like, and there's a few others. I think Capri was nice as well, and this one sounds interesting. Yes Please features amorous, cypress, thyme, rosemary, rose, cedarwood, cardamom, lemon, juniper, and cucumber. That cucumber is throwing me off. Cucumber always has this watery ozonic touch, a bit marine, so we'll see how it is, but curious to discover and curious to smell. They sell the fragrances at Ministry of Scent here in San Francisco, and I also think they sell them at the Real here in San Francisco as well. Moving on to Comptoir Sud Pacifique Musk Crystal. It seems like they have another fragrance that was launched a long time ago with a similar theme. Crystal Musk, it was a reverse name. Now they're launching Musk Crystal. It features notes of white musk, tonka beans, cashmere, and violet iris jasmine. And what I like about this house, they do focus a lot on gourmands, but they also have this particular theme. They have these kind of random themes, which I like. They're also under $100 for 100 ml, so they won't break the bank. It's a niche style fragrances that are less expensive than other niche fragrances, and the same ballpark pricing of designer fragrances. So are you a fan of Comptoir Sud Pacifique? And if you are, what are your favorite fragrances from this house? Moving on, another collection of fragrances I'd like to dig into, Maison TAHITE. You guys know this one? They had a vanilla collection, or they have. They have a chocolate collection. Now they're launching the coffee collection. And I've sampled all of them, and I'd like to dig into the house and discuss the vanilla collection, the chocolate collection, and then of course now the coffee collection, which I sampled during Pitti Fragranza in Florence in September. So I'm going to talk to you about all four fragrances really quickly. There's a fragrance called velvet coffee, which is more of a powdery coffee with iris and cacao and cardamom and carrot. There's Iristretto, which is Arabica coffee, orris concrete, violet, patchouli, cashmeran, and pink pepper. There's another one called Coffee Bomb, which sounds fabulous with the name. I love that name. It's coffee, saffron, cocoa, tonka beans, cardamom, black pepper, vanilla, and leather. Finally, the fourth fragrance in this collection is Café Gourmand, which is Arabica coffee, hazelnut, patchouli, saffron, milk, sandalwood, cade, vetiver, and moss. I believe Café Gourmand was my favorite. I really enjoyed it for its gourmand qualities, but all four of them were really nice, and each of the collections focuses on a single note and they take it to different directions, and they're also not very expensive. And also this collection of fragrances, or this brand, is a sister brand of Laboratorio Olfativo. So really interested in these fragrances, and hopefully soon I'll do a video on their collections. And then last and final, last but not least I should say, this is kind of an outrageous thing I discovered online. There's a fragrance house, a new fragrance house called Maison Psyche, or Psyche fragrances, and their fragrances are going to be priced at 5,500 euros per bottle. Get this, it's a fragrance house created by Maison Remy Martin or Remy Cointreau, the company that does these liqueurs and champagnes and things like that. They're launching fragrances and they're maturing their alcohol or ingredients and the woods that they use to mature or age their liqueurs and things like that. So kind of like I guess now that Sense of Wood does something like this, and other brands will come, but I'm not sure about the price tag of these fragrances. 5,500 euros a bottle. It's going to be for really wealthy collectors. I mean, 5,500 is just way outrageous. What are your thoughts on this? Do a search online, Maison Psyche fragrances, or do Maison Remy Martin or Remy Cointreau perfumes, and you'll see the articles come up. Really outrageously priced. I would never pay $5,500 for a fragrance, never. And I do spend a lot of money for fragrances, but $5,500 for a bottle? I mean, I read that the bottles are really nicely craftily done, but $5,500, that is just freaking outrageous. I can fly to Europe first class for that price. Anyway, that's the last fragrance or the releases I'm going to talk to you about today. Let me know your thoughts on these fragrances. Are you excited for these fragrances? And if there's anything else that you're excited about that I did not discuss today, I do have some bonus fragrances, so stay tuned for that. But other than that, guys, thanks so much for watching today's video. If you have any questions or comments, please list below. Please like this video, please share it, follow me on Instagram and Facebook, and I'll be back with more videos very soon. Have a good one. Goodbye. So a couple of bonus fragrances I'm going to talk to you about as well. One of them is YSL's Lavalier. One of you messaged me on Facebook Messenger and said this is new, and I was like, I never saw it in France. And 2 days later I was speaking to a sales associate and they said it's already selling at Neiman Marcus, and I'm like, YSL's Lavalier is here but Baby Cat is not, so I don't get why these brands are doing these weird exclusivity things where one fragrance is available one place and it's not in another place. So I don't know. But yeah, I went to Neiman Marcus and it was an instant love with this one. I bought it right out because it was a beautiful combination of figs and roses. It's fruity fig, and also the green stuff is in there as well, the green leaves. But it also features blackcurrant, geranium, jasmine, vetiver, cashmere, and musk. I feel like this particular fragrance is taking Rouge Trafalgar from Dior and Lambert Low from Diptyque and kind of marrying it. So it kind of feels like it's that kind of a fragrance. Lambert Low plus adding figs to the mix as well. So Rouge Trafalgar, Lambert Low, figs together is what you get with YSL's Lavalier, and actually amping up the rose as well. It's really delicious. I do think it leans a bit feminine, but man, this is gonna be really great in the summertime, spring summer, perfect fragrance. One other thing I'm going to talk to you about today. I'm going to talk to you about two other things. It's just basically Atelier des Ors' two new fragrances, Pink Me Up and Noir by Night. If you're curious to learn about those two fragrances, go catch my video with Jean-Philippe Clermont of the brand, and he and I discussed the two fragrances. But Pink Me Up is all about a fruity champagne. I mentioned it was kind of like a Cure Royale. And Noir by Night, even though it's inspired by caviar. I feel like it's more of a woody, incensey, smoky, dark take on a fragrance. Didn't get much caviar from it, but those two fragrances are also launching soon. And of course, you guys can go find out more about it on the video that I shot in Cannes when they were launching it. So I feel like Pink Me Up will be the popular one in the series because it comes in this most beautiful pink bottle. The Noir by Night comes in the black bottle. I think both bottles are really beautiful, but I feel like Pink Me Up has a lot of hype around it in comparison to Noir by Night. Anyway guys, thanks so much for watching today's video. Stay tuned for another video soon. Bye bye.